Hi, welcome to my Music History 2 blog. My name is Adrian Enser, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Velvet Underground and Nico, and the influence that they've made on today's modern music. The band Velvet Underground existed from about 1964 to 1973 and was comprised of the members Lou Reed and John Cale, which were the primary co-founders, and we also have Sterling Morrison on guitar and Maureen Tucker on drums. John Cale provided most of the arrangement and experimental drive behind the band, whereas Lou Reed put forth most of the lyrical content and subject matter, which was very, I guess you could say, off-kiltered, just like the song we're listening to right now, which is called Heroin. Very straightforward in terms of what the song is discussing, but was different for the time. You know, most of pop rock music at that time was about your everyday topics of love and romance and things of that nature. The Velvet Underground really pushed the envelope there. Andy Warhol took notice of them in '66 and brought them into his main art venue called The Factory, where he made them a regular part of a multimedia event called the Exploding Plastic Inevitable. And this is where, you know, the Velvet Underground really took off and got a lot of popularity, and they were really able to flourish in terms of their stage presence, their performance, that went right along with their avant-garde type of musical topics and stylings. A lot of the music is very hypnotic, if you will, in a nature, you know, pursued by Maureen Tucker's drumming, but yet the soundscapes are very full and wild at times. Yet a lot of the songs also have a very folk rock type of nature. So there's many things that are contrasting here, which, you know, the different musicians involved, you know, brought together. And then you have Nico, which was a German model, and she added sort of that feminine, soft quality nature to the whole group, and she was featured on a few tracks. So the songs as a whole on the album in itself are, you know, like I said, very avant-garde, and some are very up in their rhythm, and some kind of have a melancholy nature to them. And that's kind of where I took Nirvana's Something in the Way and saw a great similarity in there. I mean, I know Heroin is a song that's very upfront in its lyrical content, whereas Something in the Way is more metaphorical, but that's, you know, to be expected of a writer like Kurt Cobain. But I feel that, you know, in listening to Nirvana and then listening to the Velvet Underground, I always felt this great similarity in both of the songwriting, coming from a kind of a very folk rock background in terms of the underlying meat of the song, but yet being very socially questionable, I guess you could say, in some of the topics that both of them discussed. And I think the overall feeling of each of the songs are very similar. It has that melancholy type of vibe to it. So as you see, you know, Andy Warhol stepping into the picture, like we were just talking about with the Factory and the Exploding Plastic Inevitable, he took them under his wing basically, and, you know, said, hey, I'm gonna pay for your guys to record this album, and you know, combine that art sense that Andy Warhol had, which was taking everyday topics that weren't really talked about, such as sexual deviance, prostitution, drug usage, which are things that Lou Reed often spoke about, was never really discussed in songs before. He said that, you know, they were often discussed in literature, but never in pop music. And I think that's something that Andy Warhol also had a very close sense of identifiability with the Velvet Underground. I mean, his artwork was that pop culture art where he would take something that's everyday, but yet take it and put a twist on it, as seen in his art. So it was a really good mix, and with Warhol standing behind the group and his ability to push them into the forefront, the Velvet Underground was really able to influence a lot of pop culture and musical art forms, throughout the decades. And even today, they're a very great influence. They were a great influence on me and my music. Currently today, I am a producer. I've been a DJ and promoter for approximately 10 years now in the music industry. So I am here at Full Sail, furthering my education, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you very much.